Well, Hurricane Ike was a Category 2 storm, but it was the costliest hurricane to ever to make landfall in the state of Texas. Among the reasons, a powerful storm surge that redefined our coastal regions and massive power outages.
And as with all major storms, meteorologist John Dawson explains how Hurricane Ike taught us a lot about our vulnerabilities.
It wasn't the most intensive hurricane, but it was a very large hurricane. And that's the main reason why it pushed so much water onshore, is that the radius of the hurricane and tropical storm force winds were very large. So it's really, you have to factor in, how big of a circulation it is, not just the maximum intensity.
At one point, Ike was over 600 miles in diameter. So while Ike's winds rated it as a Category 2, its storm surge was more like that of a Category 4 hurricane. And more than 24 hours before landfall, it cut off escape routes. For those still on Bolivar Peninsula, U.S. Coast Guard and National Guard had to airlift 635 people off that barrier island. It's also the reason that Galveston's historic Strand flooded well before Ike roared on shore.
A lot of people haven't experienced it, and so even though we educate people about the threat, until they see it for their own eyes, sometimes they don't completely understand it.
And during landfall, it's a powerful wall of water. It wasn't wind that destroyed all those homes on Bolivar Peninsula. It was storm surge. And it's also what deposited all of that debris along our roadways near Galveston Bay. This is the most deadly threat brought on by hurricanes. But it is confined to coastal areas. The loss of electricity, however, is something that affects just about everyone. Ike is blamed for the largest power outage in Texas history, with more than 95% of CenterPoint Energy customers losing power.
If that's not part of your plan, it should be. You have to understand that with a storm the size of Ike or a Katrina, even a Rita that directly impacts us, we could be without power for a substantially long period of time.
And that period of time is the lesson learned for most of us. But I've actually heard CenterPoint Energy talking about this for years. As a matter of fact, if you go to their website, they have a hurricane preparedness section. And under the frequently asked questions, they are warning us that at a Category 2 hurricane, you'd expect to see a power outage for 2 to 3 weeks. And that's amazingly accurate. But look at a major hurricane. We could be without power for 3 to 8 weeks. But of course, the plans are always improving.
Their initial plan was to have 3,500 people brought in from outside, and I told the leadership of CenterPoint, and for that matter, President Bush at the time, that we wanted people from every state, and there were over 10,000 people brought in, linesmen and tree crews from all over the country that helped get the nation's 4th largest city back up and running within a matter of weeks.
Is it ever as fast as we want? No. But in your plan, you have to be prepared to live without those resources. So we have to be prepared as an individual and as a community.
And don't forget your smartphone. That's one specific thing you can work on today. Cell phones have been proven to be surprisingly reliable in post-storm areas.
So how are you going to keep your cell phone charged when the power goes out? We've got some great ideas in our hurricane toolbox, and you can find that on our website, myfoxhouston.com. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about the lessons that we've learned from Hurricane Humberto. So all week long, we're going to be doing this stuff to help you out.
That's right.